to the 2021 Northside Church of God Annual Business Meeting. I'd like to call to order. I'm going to invite Jennifer, who doesn't know about this, to
There's something else.
prayer. We get all that involved. So
I need these added into.
Okay.
They're cheering for you.
Oh, they're already okay.
Father, just be with us as we bring this budget to you and help us do God's work and bring that into your church. In Jesus' name we pray.
It's easier to spring on people than it is to ask for permission. So we're going to first start off with the review of the last year's minutes. So now it's Susan's turn to talk, and then we'll go from there.
Sorry for the fast reading, because I probably don't know. Just saying, if you get nervous, I say you start really super fast. Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me? Okay, Michael opened the meeting, Sean read the minutes, Debbie Case motion to accept, motion carried. Michael asked Pastor Matt to recap the year. We accomplished a lot in a restricted season. Surprisingly, God showed up and did an awful lot. Bridget from Peru wrote us a huge thank you because we have been instrumental in helping with their ministries. Matt is building relationships with college students and would expect to see more college students coming to church in the next year. Thinking of 2021, in Micah 6, this is one of our defining scriptures, to act justly, to love mercifully, and to walk humbly with your God. Until we see how everything plays out, I can't give you specific visions of what we're going to be able to do. These are sort of overarching things. One, we are going to love God more in 2021 through intentional movements towards the heart of God, through prayer and fasting, by simply being obedient. Two, we are going to increase our impact in the community and region through specific partnerships within the community. Three, we will establish an active program to love our families consistently with the love of Jesus. Four, we will make our church building a place that the community will utilize or engage with on a bi-weekly basis. Five, we will establish a discipleship pathway that will allow each of us to become more like Christ. Pastor Matt updated us on laundry line. First, let Pastor Matt know that you're interested. The training event will happen on the same day, December 6th. You will have to be connected to the vine, and you will have to be willing to talk to strangers. Michael thanked Matt. Michael took a moment for personal reflection. It is really easy to think about all the tough times of 2020, but 2020 has been pretty awesome. Michael has been blessed with a healthy family, a supportive church, a Lord that died for his sins, a roof over his head, transportation, and a family who love him. The blessings outnumber the difficulties. This doesn't mean that we don't need to work together, but God is good. Michael thanked the church for coming together and for everyone behind the scenes who made the meeting happen. We have amazing volunteers that help get things done. People handle our our grounds, taking care of the building, our music, etc. Michael chose not to mention people by name, but we are blessed. Michael took a moment to review the budget. Last year, we were projected to bring in $105,000. We brought in over $107,000 with a decrease in attendance. Some of our expenditures have been based on one-time improvements, so what the elders did was looked at the budget and recommended a 4% raise for Pastor Matt. He reiterated that being a pastor includes some specific challenges. Matt doesn't complain, but Michael wanted us to understand that a pastor is an employee of the church, but is also self-employed. They have to pay their own Social Security. Money comes out of his salary. That doesn't hit most of us. We did increase his salary in 2020, but this is for 2021. All of our missions are remaining the same. We hit all of our targets. Indiana Ministries is part of Ecamm. We unique ministry that we give to. This is based on our offering. If we bring in more, they get more. If we bring in less, they get less. This is a part of a covenant that we agreed to with them when we were bringing in Pastor Matt and had to do some restructuring. Some expenses weren't needed. We didn't have any snow removal last year because of the weather last year. Does anyone have any questions? We have a total allotment, then automatically take $100 per week and put it in savings for our rainy day fund in case furnaces or ACs go out, etc. We have a restricted account. That's everything from projects to youth to adult Sunday school and Bible studies. If the money is taken out of the offering and put into any of these accounts, the money is going to be put into our savings account for something specific. Sometimes the Bible studies group puts some of the money back into the church. Sometimes people give to specific projects, such as the blacktop on the parking lot and projectors get taken out of the restricted funds. There are no questions about the budget, so I directed everyone to the ballot. 75% and majority to accept each item. We have 3 openings on the board: Greg, Susan, and Jennifer, and Don Martin as head usher. Connie will be stepping down as the treasurer, and we are in process of identifying who will be the next treasurer. That will also go to vote, but we don't have that ready right now. As soon as we have that, we will bring it before the church. Marcia Troxel asked to confirm that we are indeed ratifying 3 elders. Michael confirmed that and explained the pre-qualifications for voting. One must be 18, attended for 6 months, and have accepted Jesus Christ. One might vote at 16 if they meet the other 2 qualifications. There were no more questions. While people filled out their ballots, Pastor Matt added that he would soon be creating teams within the church, hospitality teams, etc. This would have already happened, but COVID. All ballots were tallied. Pastor Matt thanked Brady for making the slideshow. Michael returned and said that hopefully we will be able to have a meal, but we couldn't do it this year. All of the motions passed. Michael asked if anyone had any good jokes, but no one offered any. Michael adjourned the meeting.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes as read? Motion from Ms. Lazatter. Second. Mr. Gates, thank you. I believe, as we've identified in the bylaws, that there is one person that has the ability to join in if the church is okay, and that's Ms. Raven, as a 16-year-old, and the person who has accepted Christ and been here for at least 6 months. Does anybody have any opposition to this? All right, welcome to the club. Wow, this has been a trying year, and before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, I have a confession to make. As disciples of Christ, we're supposed to pray expectantly, and at times I review the financials, and I'm going to present some kind of grim, unpleasant numbers for you. And I've done a horrible job of praying expectantly and having the faith that we're going to move forward in a positive direction. So for that, I apologize, and I promise to do better. I just request that each of you pray expectantly that we're going to move in the right direction. And I think that all churches right now are faced with a lot of the same struggles that we are. I think we're making the right decisions, but attendance is down. People are passing away. People are moving away. People are staying home for health and safety reasons. And you'll see that when we look at why the budget is lower, both in spending and in projected giving. So we'll get into that here in a minute, but I just wanted to get that off of my chest. We have had one, large-scale project that was way past due, and that was we had the church rekey. Every lock has now been changed, and we have a system for making sure that we know where keys are going. There's my little Judah walking out of the church. So we now know who has keys, and how to get them back if something we decide to leave. So that's been an expense. It's a one-time expense, but I think it was a good one. We haven't really had any other major expenses this year. In fact, I think you'll find that we've tried to curb spending. We don't have the after-church meals that we used to have, some of the events. So we have tried to watch some of those expenses. Greg has taken the time to reach out to all of our utility companies to make sure that we're on a budget system. So we thank him for that. That doesn't really change the overall cost, but it does keep us consistent throughout the year, which is good. Everyone knows that air conditioning in the summer is going to raise the electricity, and heating in the winter is going to raise our gas bills. With that being said, I want to also thank the board, great support system for Pastor Matt and myself. Come together every month. We talk about those fun, difficult decisions, and the goal is that you'll have trust in us so that you can come and worship the Lord every Sunday and help bring others to know the Lord as well. We do not have any elders up for election this year, which I think is the first time in history that I can remember that we didn't have anybody. We lost our treasurer this year. Drew has moved to Florida with his wife. They will be missed. So we're in the process of trying to identify a new treasurer for 2022. Jennifer has stepped up and will be the interim treasurer, so we're very appreciative of that. Matt, I believe before we present the budget, you have a can I get a couple of people to hand out the budget for everybody's review? Thanks. So as everybody receives the proposed budget, you'll see some interesting numbers. The first is, last year we brought in, 2020 we brought in $107,000. We're actually on track to bring in a little less than $82,000 this year. It's a big drop. But along with my admittance that I am not great expectantly, I feel like we have to have faith that we're going to rebound. So I talked to the board, and we have put in for a little higher than that $86,000 mark. As we know, inflation is impacting the United States. Anybody's been to the gas pumps lately has seen that. So we know that our expenses can go up a little bit from inflation, but we're hoping that as people are making these new wages that you hear about on television, that we're going to see some new revenue. So we have drastically reduced our giving to missions and outreach. Church of God Ministries, we have cut that in half. And the Indiana Ministries is based on a percentage of giving, so that has been decreased. We have eliminated Christian Ministries. We have decreased Muncie Mission with the intention that we're going to really push giving during the welcome aisle. And so that would be individual participation and not from the church, but we're still going to request that everyone participate in that because we see that as a huge cause in our community. And then we've eliminated Yellow Creek Lake and First Choice. Those decisions were not awesome decisions to make. We realize that those are also organizations in need, but we need to right now focus on our home base so that we can continue to rebound and grow strong. And I think the hope is that we can get back to adding some of these back in the future. Does anybody have any questions about what you're seeing here today? Hit me with your best shot. We'll try and answer. Yes, Susan.
The church has no savings.
The church does have savings, and it's not reflected on here, but it is. And we have tapped into it this year to cover operations, but we do still have it. And I will point out that because of the drastic reduction in giving, this budget shows that we're not putting any money back into savings. We were putting $100 a week in, and so that we were adding to that. And this budget does not allow for that. We have to cover our operations. So again, we want to get to where we can put money back. But the other change is we have eliminated restricted accounts. All that money was, the way restricted accounts it works anyway is all that money is in our general operations account. It's just designated for use. However, I'm being honest, we only have one person in the church who currently contributes to those designated accounts. And through our governance training with Indiana Ministries, they have indicated that in times like this, we have the permission, or the board has the right to use that money for operations. So we have eliminated all designated accounts, and we're just going to have a general operations account. We're still going to back the general maintenance of the church that needs to be completed. We're still going to do things like the parking lot, those things that come up. I mean, those are just things that have to be done. We're still going to support our youth group and our children's programs. We're just not going to say that that money has to be used for those areas. Any other questions?
What does the Church of God Ministries include?
Church of God Ministries is national, or international. So that's their, supporting their outreach for all of the Church of Gods in the world and their missions. So we obviously want to support our parent organization, but we've had to decrease that. And I'm sure a lot of churches are decreasing their giving to the, both the state and the international bodies.
So basically some of the mission giving then too.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so today we are, since we're not voting for any individuals and we're just voting on the budget, I am going to recommend that we take a verbal vote today, unless there is any opposition in the congregation. Okay. So to accept today's proposed budget, I'm going to ask for a yea or nay vote. Those in favor, can I get a yea? Yay. Those opposed? Okay.
Hey, I want to thank you for being here. I just want to say I love you guys, and this has been a season like no other. We've been thing we were at the meeting last year. We were hoping, as the whole world was, that we would come out of this COVID stuff, and unfortunately, it's still here. So I want to first say I'm really sorry if you have seen any of my weaknesses in this. I've got a lot of them. And so I want to apologize to you. There have been times where it's been hard. I don't know what the right answer is sometimes. It seems like there isn't one. And so I show up and I do what I think is best. And sometimes you may feel like that's a bad decision, and I understand that. But just know that I like you and trying to depend on Jesus. And so if I've hurt your feelings, if I've done anything that, makes you upset, I want to apologize. I'm definitely not perfect, but we're all trying to follow Jesus in this season as a church. That's, unprecedented. We haven't really done this before. Not on the level of the scale that's happened. This is a worldwide event, and so I just want to say I'm sorry if anything I've done or anything has made you upset. But moving on. 2022, I really believe we're going to reach a turning point. Due to vaccines and other things, and this is going to be our guiding verse. And they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and prayer. It's really simple, but it is really the movement of the New Testament church. We talked about what is church. This is one of the defining principles of what church looked like in the beginning, when people had to gather in small groups, when people had to gather smallly to move the gospel through their community, to love their family. And a lot of us really enjoy doing things like that. And it's not a bad thing, but it takes intentionality and time. And so this verse will be guiding us in this year. And one of the key things when we go about making decisions as a church and even as believers is, if you want to put up that next slide, Robbie, we really got to put it through the filter of Jesus. Okay? We've got lots of issues to make decisions on. We've got to make a decision on this. Old way, new way. We got issues, masks, no masks, vaccine, unvaccinated, Republican, Democrat. This is cool, we used to do it like this. This way is new and really trendy. All these things have to go through the filter of Christ. Okay? That's how we make decisions as a church body. It's how we make decisions as believers. Like, what is the one way we're going to love our neighbor through this new decision, through this old way, through the new way? Well, how is that going to impact our family, our community? And so these are all things that spin in my mind and ought to spin in your mind on a daily basis. Your decision to engage or not to engage ought to go through the filter of Christ. And as a church, we need to move this direction to allow this to be more of our determining decision-making process rather than some other things. Yeah, money is a big deal. But at the end of the day, I am here with you, regardless of whether or not I get paid a dime. I'm committed to this church. So, yes, we took down my salary by $2,000. Yes, I will go lower, whatever I need to do. Because in my mind, in my heart, it is this, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to love our neighbor, to reach this community. There are people that are just right here, next door, that need to go to church, that want to be in church. This guy right here, right on the corner, he wants to be in church. Talk to him. He's 90. His dad was a professional golf player, traveled the country. He's from Scotland. People want to be here. And so whatever it takes to go out and reach them or bring them here, what are you willing to do? What are we willing to do as a church? So in that process, understanding that, let's look at what we're going to do and attempt to do in 2022. Obviously, I can't predict COVID, but I believe that we're on a lower trajectory. I'm looking at everything. So the core, the centralness of our church is Jesus. Jesus is at the center. It's Jesus. Gospel-centric. Jesus is the core. And then out of that, we have outreach, which will include doing like a concert we did on Friday night that had 65 people show up, people driving from Ohio. Different genres, different movements. So that's one thing. Wednesday night kids programs. We've got a lot of, I'm not saying it has to be on Wednesday night, I'm just giving you an example. We've got a lot of students that want a place to come and parents wanting to drop them off for an hour and a half so that we can love on them and they can go get groceries, get a break from their kids who are crazy, or whatever it may be, maybe going on a date. So we got that in the outreach arm. Groups. We're going to move into what I call discovery groups. What that's going to look like, if you're willing to participate, would be a time where you intentionally gather every 1 to 2 weeks in your house and you invite your neighbors over for a meal, and you're intentional, and you just talk about the Bible. It's not magical, but the Holy Spirit can utilize this. There's a church in Kansas City that has been doing groups like that went from 1 to 120 groups. Because if you haven't realized this, COVID has shown that we need community. People need people around them. It's not healthy to be in our house for 2 months and not go out, as we saw when everybody was quarantined. People need a community, and we can be that. You can be that for your neighbors. So groups, disciple making. That means you guys showing up here intentionally and us moving towards Jesus together on mission, being honest, being truthful. It's not sit your butt in the pew on Sunday. It is, what are you doing today after church? Monday during work? Tuesday when that guy cuts you off? It's being a disciple every day of the week. And then the bottom one is up and in. So it's our vertical movement towards God and our inward growth in Christ. How does that happen? By participating in church, by attending a discovery group, by actually walking in obedience to what God calls us to do. Instead of saying, no, I don't feel like that. I'm just going to eat some more bluebell. That's up and in. Up towards God, and then inward growth through Christ. These are all the things that we're going to attempt to move towards. We're also going to do whatever it takes to reach this community. Let's talk a little bit about last year. Last year wasn't perfect, but we did a lot of things. We reached a lot of people. Every week, people from crew are in here practicing, rehearsing. We've had multiple birthday parties with people in the community that do not attend our church. With 30, 50 people, because they needed space. We've been reaching out through change makers. We gave away shoes to people in the fairgrounds. We helped put food on the table. We've put out cards. We've done a lot of things to get our name out there, the name of Christ. But it's all about Jesus. The Love Muncie initiative that you guys have seen the red shirts. If you haven't seen me afterward, I can maybe find your size if we got one. But the Love Muncie initiative is a collective group of kingdom-minded people that are going to get together and serve the community. In a big community service day, multiple church, multiple people gathering together under the banner of Christ and impacting this street and the street across there, and your school, and the curb, and what this city looks like all in one day. We have a lot of amazing things, but the thing that we need to do the most is do whatever it takes and show up for Christ. Look, I get that we are all very busy people, but at the same time, we need to have the willingness to show up in our home and at church when we can do things that are going to bring Jesus to the community. Even when it might be uncomfortable, even when it might not be quote-unquote ideal, even when it might not be something that we personally love, if it's going to bring someone else to Jesus, we have to have the willingness to walk through that doorway. So for this year, I need you. I really do. I need you to step up. Greg, you've had a lot of great ideas. You've knocked on doors. I need you to come with me and do it again. We've talked about things. We're going to utilize this building. We're going to do amazing things, put some basketball courts out here. They're building a park right next to this church, right down the road. They're building a huge park. There's 40 homes that are going to come in here. A development. They're building a park, and I've already been working with that planning commission to supplement the things that they're not going to do. So if they don't build a basketball court, we might build a couple here. We're going to try. If they don't do a pickleball court, we might paint some lines on the thing and have a mobile pickleball then. We're going to love our community and utilize this amazing blessing, this asset that the church is, to be a light in darkness. But it starts with each of you in your hearts. Are you representing the God of the Bible? Are you bringing light wherever you go? Are you connected up to the vine, or are you connected up to Fox News or CNN? Who's shepherding our lives? Is it God, or is it opinion of man? All these things are what make a church. The church is not Matt Derby or my ideas or the board or your ideas. It's us united underneath the cross of Christ, doing whatever it takes to reach the community. Even if it means having a hip-hop concert up here and watching Jason's beard hair jiggle because the bass was loud. It means bringing a gospel quartet up here and watching a banjo player set his fingers on fire. If it means listening to Christian country music, or whatever it is, whatever it takes to bring Jesus to the people down the road who need him. And you better believe people are reaching out. They are. And if they're not, then we got to ask ourselves, why not? So, that is the end of my report. Does anyone have any questions or want to talk to me? This would be a great time to do so. Open floor. Anything you want to say in front of the assembly? If you want to talk, we can do that. If you don't want to do it here, you want to talk to me afterwards, I am available at all times. I do want you to know that I absolutely love each one of you. And when I say that, I really mean it. I will run through a fire for you. I will run through doors. Communicate with me, and I will do whatever you need. If I don't know about something, I can't really help you. But if you want to let me know, if you want to bring me in, I'll do my best to be there. Yes, we have 6 kids, and we're trying to move, and yes, I'm busy. But I'll tell you the truth, with 6 kids, I'm always busy, so let's just take that off the table. Pastor Matt's busy. Yep, I am, but I will make time. I love each of you. I'll make time to help you in whatever way I can, okay? Nobody has any questions? Anybody want to make comments? Anybody?
Matt?
Greg.
I love the heart of this church. And that's why Fran and I are back here. And we missed our time here. Some of you know why, and that's not important. What's important is that we follow our heart, and if Christ is in our heart, what else can we do but sacrifice? And I know that there are times that there are things I would rather do, and I do them. And I'm personally going to make a sacrifice of at least an additional hour a week from here on out to spend time on whatever it is the church needs to have done. And I encourage you to do the same thing. That means shutting off that 1 hour program that you're watching, whether it be your news or whatever it is. Commit that to Christ, because he'll give you back the reward tenfold. And we will see, I think, great things happen. And I know physically, because some of us are older, you can't do that. But you want to know what? I'll bet there wasn't a day that Nancy Ramsey didn't pray for this church or pray for you individually. She may not have been able to physically do something, but she had your soul and your well-being in mind and loved Jesus. And there are others that I could mention also, but I'm not going to take the time to do that. I'm just saying Christ wants his church to move forward. And he has for a long time. And there maybe have been reasons why it hasn't. But I'm here to tell you, I believe it can be great again. And not for our glory, but for his glory.
Amen. And I can regret saying, look, yeah, numbers are down across the board. And yes, I know some people want certain things, and I love them, and we're going to do whatever it takes to bring people into Jesus, whatever doorway we got to walk through, whatever door we got to open. So within our capacity, we're going to do it. Because there are people that are dying to know Christ right outside these doors, right now. They're sitting at home, they hate their life, they're thinking about ending it, and we have the answer. But sometimes we just choose not to say it. That's the responsibility. We're a light in this community. And we need to do whatever it takes. So, thank you. So, yes, Doug. Right.
So I think if we all think of somebody that we don't see today, maybe today or tomorrow, we just get a ring on the phone and say, we missed you, here's what we did, and we were thinking about you as we were doing it. I think that would really.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, I agree. We need to be reaching out individually. And I know, Susan, you did a great job sending cards out to people, and I appreciate you taking initiative on that. We need to also be caring for each other as a family. Okay? It's all of our responsibility to do certain things in the church body. And yes, I try to do as much as I can to sometimes the detriment of our family, but everyone needs to step up to the plate. We're all in the game. So, but yeah, I want to pray. Can you guys come up here if you're comfortable with that? Okay. Well, we're going to pray up here. Do a little prayer. Lord God, I just lift up Janet and Shirley as they just got news of their aunt passing. This moment, Lord, and this meeting's important, but you see your children, and when they cry, you cry with them. The shortest verse in the Bible is Jesus wept because he knows our pain and our struggles, and he's here with us. He'll never leave us nor forsake us. In good times and bad times, he's with us. Right now, I lift up Janet and Shirley in this moment. Lord God, and I just ask for just peace that surpasses understanding. And they'll be a light to the family, and I just pray that it would be as just godly driven as possible. Don't know the circumstances of the situation, but I pray for all those who are coming in that do not know you, that they can be light and love to them in this time. Just lift that up in your name. Amen. Lord God, we just pray right now for this church. We are not perfect. We are a bunch of people, and we all need Jesus. Help us walk towards the cross. Help us carry and push and prod and move along in the same direction of Jesus. Lord, and help us die to self daily. As John the Baptist said when he said, I must increase and Jesus must increase. Let that be our heartbeat. Let that be our rhythm and our nature. We just lift this up in your precious, wonderful, holy name. All God's people said. Amen. Bless you guys. We love you. You are free to do what you will.